What is up, everyone? Welcome to Reality Room Spoilers with Paul, bringing you the latest on Big Brother 18 live feed stuff. So, last Thursday, or this Thursday rather, we left off with the HOH competition. We just had Michelle go home, tiebreaker votes. Basically, Nicole and Corey choosing the side of their house that they kind of want to work with, that ultimately being Paul and Victor, rather than Natalie and James. So what's pretty important about that is now it seems like it's 4 versus 2. So because Nicole can't play in this HOH competition, it's 3 versus 2. So if anybody in the James and Natalie, those two win, they're going to go after the 4. And if the other 3 win, they're going to go after Natalie and James. At least that's how it's looking right now. So let's just jump into who won the HOH. Is if you can see in the title below, the winner was Victor. That's right, guys. Victor won another HOH competition. But before we get into what he's doing with it, let's talk about what happened during the HOH. So the HOH competition was the egg competition. If you guys remember from the past couple of seasons, it kind of had a different variation of it every single season, but it's like the same concept. You pass the eggs through like this small little fence things, and they pass it up, pass it up, pass it up, pass it up. I actually really like this comp. It's very interesting, very innovative, and I don't even know where I would place it. Like I guess it's physical. I think it's like a physical, mental. It's a little bit of everything, honestly. It's like a different kind of endurance, I would say. So the way this competition started was that I actually started tuning in a little late, but it seems that Natalie, Corey, and Victor, the 3 of them all got their Natalie and Corey, I believe, got their first 2 rather quickly, and then Victor got his 2. Then Paul and James, this is when I started tuning in. Paul had 1 and James had 0. The competition lasted, I believe, a little over an hour and a half, and that's a pretty long time. So you got basically the way they did the competition this time is that you had to get the eggs around, and then you had to knock down 3 letters for HOH, and if you get it, you win. And as I said before, Victor, Natalie, and Corey, ironically, one of them being each in a different duo. So that's why my mind was like blown when this happened. It was like, wow, it's those 3 that each have 2, and it was just like, who's gonna win? And are they going to be loyal to their alliance? Like, I mean, that's what I was really thinking about. So eventually, I would say maybe around the hour and 10-minute mark, Paul got his second one, and James about 5 minutes later got his first one. So he knocked down the O. I think Paul had an H and an O. So, just pretty interesting. And I believe everyone still had the rest of the other people still had to knock down an H as well. The 3 who were in the lead. So Paul tied it up at 2. At that point, it was basically everyone fighting for the HOH, aside for James, who was just way behind. I mean, like, I think James is just naturally bad at this comp. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I don't really know what James was doing during this comp. It seems like, I don't know, I mean, I know he was trying. Like, if I was watching this, not having watched last week, I would have guessed that he got the 5K bribe. But, like, I know the 5K was used on Victor, so that's why I was, like, a little confused. I just thought he would do a little better on it. But, I guess, I don't know. I don't know the circumstances. So what ends up happening is that basically my heart's racing, and I know all of yours are too, the ones who are watching the feeds. Everyone's heart's racing. Like, everyone just keeps going. Like, Natalie's going. I'm like, ah! Corey's going, ah! Victor and Paul, ah! Like, they all have 2, and I'm just like, oh my god. Every time they try to roll an egg down the slide, I'm just, like, shitting my pants. Because it's like, oh my god, who's going to win this? Because the winner is basically going to decide, ultimately, the final 5, possibly the final 4, if we'll see if that alliance sticks. But the winner ends up being, like I said before, Victor. So he gets his last H, and everyone's just so excited because, they were doing this for a long time, and they were all very tired. Apparently some people's, like, fingers, like, got very bloody. I think one of their fingernails almost came off. One of the players' fingernails almost come off. I was like, people just listening to the comments on the feeds, I was like, wow. So it's a very stressful comp, I can imagine. And like I said before, a little over an hour and a half of basically doing the same thing over and over again. And, it does a number to your hands, I can imagine. So Victor wins HOH. Very exciting, especially because I think out of the 2, Victor and Paul, I think Victor is probably the more loyal of the 2, at least towards Corey and Nicole. I know Paul is still loyal to them, but But I feel like if there was to be one person in that duo who would take a swing at Corey and Nicole, it would probably be Paul. So that's why Victor winning this week is probably better. So allows Paul to play in the HOH next week, so he has more freedom if he does win next week. So Victor wins this, very exciting, and basically they all go inside the house. And the four of them, the final four, the alliance, Nicole, Corey, Victor, and Paul, they just hug it out. They're all so excited. They're like, Natalie and James are gonna feel the block. They're gonna know exactly how we felt just a few days ago, and they're just gonna, they thought they were dead man walking. Paul and Victor were talking. They were like they were dead man walking. Their families are probably shitting their pants right now because they just saw them on the screen. They're very emotional. So I mean, a lot of stuff's going on in the house. Like a lot of emotions flying high. Victor just straight up tells James. I don't remember if Natalie was in the room or not, but he tells James, "Listen, you and your girl are going up on the block. It's just the way it is." Like a week ago, James was the one that voted Victor out, and that showed basically where he stood back then. So, I mean, essentially, it's going to be James and Natalie. One of the two of them are going to be going home this week. So, let's talk a little bit about who the target is looking. Who's looking like they're going to be the target. I mean, obviously, if we know anything about who the target usually is, it's usually the bigger comp threat. And consistently, that has probably been more James. Even though James, I believe, has only won one competition. It might have been two. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but I believe he only won that one HOH. But again, James has also been throwing a lot of comps too. That's why I'm actually not too upset with James this time around, because at least he knows to throw stuff. But, maybe his throwing last week to Nicole probably wasn't his best idea, because otherwise, Paul or Victor would have gone to jury instead of Michelle. It's like a big shock. So James and Natalie are going to be on the block, and James is obviously the target this week. Okay, so Victor, Corey, Nicole, and Paul all talking upstairs. They're all like, "Listen, James is the target. Like, it's set in stone, so easy." And, it just makes more sense. Now, whether or not that stays the case is yet to be seen, because I think Nicole and James, despite the past week, I think they still have a chance of rekindling that friendship that they have. So we'll see what happens in the upcoming week. But if James, as of right now, if James doesn't win veto, well, I should let you know who the noms are, I guess. So the nominees are done. Obviously, it's Natalie and James. So they put them on the block. Victor does his normal speech that he's done. Can forgive, but I can't forget. I don't know if he said that this time around because they don't show it, but I think it'd be cool if he said it again. I feel like it's like Victor's like normal quote now. Even though Paulie said it first. To Victor, I feel like it's Victor's like staple quote. I feel like whenever I think of that quote, I just think of Victor rather than Paulie. I don't know why. I don't know. Let me know if you guys feel the same way down below. All right. So as I said before, it's Natalie and James on the block together. Now, finally, we have a duo on the block together. I mean, this hasn't happened. It didn't happen last week, but it happened the week before. But we had the buyback. But finally, one of the three duos is actually going to go home for sure. And I think that's a very big thing for this game, I mean, let me know what you guys think below about three duos making it into the final six. I mean, that's huge to me. That's just huge. Okay, so let me talk a little bit more about James and Natalie. It seems that Natalie is considering using the veto on James if she was to win it. And I think that's very interesting. Honestly, people that do that, I actually have a lot of respect for, because it really shows that you truly do care for that person. And honestly, a lot of people on Twitter have been saying like, "Oh, Natalie's just using James, yada yada." But I mean, Paulie said he was going to do the same thing with Corey. Corey told him not to. James also told Natalie not to. So I don't know if she was serious about it. I mean, and I guess we won't know since James told her not to do that. But I just think that the sentiment that if anyone ever does that, like I remember Evil Dick back in Season 8 did that to Danielle, that's probably, in my opinion, means you really care about that person. I just found that interesting. Okay, so James and Natalie on the block, like I said, and James he knows he's the target. Like, it's very simple. James says, if I don't win veto this week, I'm going home. But he's like, I'm going to go home like a vet does, like I'm going to hold my head up high. He's doing pranks around the house right now, like putting salt in Nicole's water or something. I don't know. James is just being James. I guess he's just, I guess he's a little salty. Alright, don't kill me so much. Alright, so, okay, so, let's see, is there anything else going on? Right, we did have Victor in his HOH basket get Dominoes, as in Dominoes as in the game, the things that you whatever with. Nah, I'm not talking about Domino's Pizza, because that'd be meh. No offense to Domino's. But, they get Domino's the game, they've been playing that a little bit with Nicole and Corey and Paul, so, I don't know. Not too exciting. I feel like with games this season, it's mostly been pool outside other than chess that we used to see. Once Paulie left, I feel like the chess matches just ended. All right, anyway, I'll stop babbling on. So yeah, James is the target this week, and honestly, I think getting James out is probably the better move for Natalie, because if James leaves, Natalie probably has the best shot of making it to the final three. So I highly doubt, and this is just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think down below. But I think that the Final Four alliance is going to break apart next week. No matter who wins, if it's Paul, if it's Corey, if it's Nicole, I feel like they're going to take a shot at the other person. Actually, maybe Corey less so, but I think Nicole and Paul are the two that would probably be willing to take the shot. I feel like Victor and Corey are the two more loyal people in that Final Four. That's why Victor winning this time was probably better for Paul, because if Paul wins next week, he can take a shot at Nicole and Corey if they want to. So it's good to have that option, and I'm sure Corey and Nicole probably feel the same way about Corey not winning this time. I don't know. Well, let me know what you guys think below. But I think Natalie has a good shot at making Final Three if James does not win the veto this week. But, anything can happen. Expect the unexpected. So yeah, this has been Reality Room Spoilers with Paul. Sorry for dragging this out a little long. But until next time, guys, peace.